Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Europa Universalis 4, also known as EU4 for short. It is developed by Paradox Development Studio, and it is a grand strategy game. I'm not going to get too much into it because a lot of you guys watching this probably are familiar with EU4, so let's just jump right into it. I am playing with the most recent update, and I have the most recent expansion, that expansion being the Cossacks expansion, which adds a lot of updates for the hordes. But we will not be playing as the hordes. We will be playing as Byzantium, which is one of my more favorite races to play, and it won't be the first time I've played them. I've played them a couple times, actually, but played them a long time ago in a lot of older updates. I've got less than 200 hours in the game, but most of those hours are actually before Art of War even came out, which was probably 2 years ago. So I'm not as familiar with more of the most recent updates, but I have a good idea of what's going on. So we'll definitely be playing as Byzantium. We're going for the Basileus achievement, which is basically creating the second Rome. So there's a bunch of provinces here in the Ottomans I've got to capture, and we'll go more detail into that as we get closer to it. But let's definitely play the game and jump into it. Ironman Mode, because that is the only way that we can actually get the achievements. There we go, and let's get into it. Definitely excited to do this one with you guys. A couple people have asked me to play this game, and I've really wanted to play it for a long time. I just really wasn't sure what nation to play as, so I'm glad that I finally picked one and that we're here doing it. Let's jump right into it. The very first thing we got to do is pick a diplomatic advisor, and the most important diplomatic advisor to have as Byzantium right off the beginning is the Diplomatic Reputation +1. Definitely have to grab him, and I'll get more into that as we go. But we've got 3 diplomats over here we've got to send out, and we're going to send one out to Hungary here, because chances are we're going to make allies of them. We're going to send one out to Poland, because we'd like to make allies of Poland, but it's not always a promise in this game. And we're going to send out one out to Wallachia, because generally they're pretty easy to nab up. They already like us because we've got the same religion, so they're usually a pretty easy one. So now to jump back up here, let's take a look at Hungary real quick and Poland. So Hungary has a rival of Venice, and the Ottomans are their rivals and their enemies. So honestly, Hungary is probably going to be the choice that ends up being our allies, prominently because of the fact that we're going to set our rival to Venice, which will give us a bonus with them. And on top of that, because the Ottomans are enemies of them and the Ottomans are an aggressor to us, we'll actually get a bonus being threatened by the Ottomans as soon as the Ottomans threaten us. And we get an enemy of our enemy bonus there for having Venice as our rival. So this game here, let's see, Serbia did start as our rival, so that's unfortunate, but that's just how it goes sometimes. All right, the next step here is we're going to send our boats here to Constantinople. That'll help us with our trade. Our trade being that we've got Aleppo here and Alexandria, and we are pushing trade towards Constantinople. Constantinople being our trade hub. Here are a trade node here in actual Constantinople, which we own, so we automatically collect trade from that. And there we go. So there we go. So we're all set up and ready to actually start the game. So let's unpause things, speed it up a little bit because we want time to somewhat move by as we're playing. All right. So let's open up these options here because we're going to want to try to go for a royal marriage, and we'll jump in here and take a look as things go on. All right. Let's move our fleet down here to Morea, because Constantinople generally always gets sieged when the Ottomans eventually declare war, and generally it always falls, but I do win it back. But when it does fall, I don't want my fleet to get pushed out in open waters, because the Ottomans have a much stronger fleet and they will absolutely wreck my fleet. So we're just going to avoid that. We were just warned there by the Ottomans. They're basically just telling me not to go to war with anyone. If I do, then they will go to war with me. Okay, so every single time you start a game, different scenarios can happen. Okay, in some scenarios, the Ottomans attack us right off the bat. In other scenarios, the Ottomans go to war with various other nations around us. Sometimes it's Albania, sometimes it's Serbia, sometimes they go to war with Karaman or Akquayunla or whatever the hell you want to pronounce that. They go to war Kandar. It's always different. And so we're hoping that in this particular scenario, they will not go to war with us within the first 10 years. We've already got a royal marriage offer from Athens. We're going to accept that because Athens does start as our vassal. Eventually we'll annex them, but it won't be anytime soon. Okay, I'm trying to remember if there's anything I'm forgetting. It's very important. Ah, yes. I believe this castle... I want to mothball that. No, not all of them. Actually, I generally usually just delete this castle. Yeah, I'm going to remove this castle. Just because that saves us actually 1 ducat a month, which is a pretty big deal for making sure that we stay in the positives. Because I'm going to have to start building my army soon. I'm not going to do it now, but we are going to do it soon. Also, another thing to take note of is I don't need any of these cogs. You may think, oh, what are you doing? Why are you deleting all your cogs? But I don't need them. I promise you. You'll see. I don't need the cogs. It saves me the money, honestly. It does make me a little bit weaker, which might instigate the Ottomans more to attack me. But we're just going to hope they don't. Okay, sweet. So Lithuania fell under a personal union with Poland, so even better to have them as an ally if we can nab them. We'll take a look real quick. So we're pretty far away from getting Poland into a royal marriage or an alliance. What about Hungary? 15 away. And 38, so a lot closer than Poland, which was a 33-13, although they're about the same. So I guess we'll see what happens. How about Wallachia? How you looking? You're looking pretty damn good. You actually already will accept an alliance. I literally just because I don't have a diplomat, but other than that, they'll already go into an alliance with us. So let's pull our diplomat off of Wallachia for a second, just to get the alliance. There we go. So Wallachia is now in an alliance with us. We'll wait till the 24th of July, and then we'll resend our Poland. We'll resend our Poland. What was I thinking? We'll send our diplomat to Wallachia, and we will nab ourselves up some more relations there. Okay, so we're in a good situation. The Ottomans have declared war on somebody else and not us. They're going to march their armies off that way, which will keep them out of our hair. Definitely very good. Wallachia sent us a royal marriage offer. We will accept it. That is going to make us buddies forever. The nobility estate gains 10 influence. Okay, let's take a look at our estates real quick. Nobility gaining 10 influence. That's going to put them at 67%, which is actually a lot. That's not going to help us there. Control provinces, 32. Eastern Technology Group, 5. Okay. There's nothing we can do about it. They're just going to gain it. Okay. It'll go down over time, though. There was a timer on that. It's going down. Lasts until the 22nd July, 1460. So 15 years. It's a pretty good amount of time. All right, Hungary. How you looking? Oh, you have an ally. Who is your ally? Austria. Interesting. Okay, so Hungary here's got Austria as their ally. They're still feeling kind of meh to us, but other than that, not bad. How about Poland? Speaking of those, let me improve relations with Wallachia. Okay. All right, Poland. You're not doing too bad. You're not as close as Hungary, but you're... We'll see if we can get the Hungarians. That is the goal. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to start building up my army soon. I don't want to do it just yet. How are the Ottomans doing against that war? They're winning, as expected. Sieging 2 of the provinces out of 3. Hopefully after that they go to war with somebody else. But chances are, usually in the scenario where the Ottoman goes to war with somebody else but me, they always go to war with me. Or not always, but I'd say at least 90% of the time. They go to war with me pretty much right after. Alright, gain 50 administrative power. Very good. Alright, so one thing we're going to want to do as well. Oh, hold on. We get obscurantism until 7th of January. National unrest +2 or lose 10 prestige. I don't really know. Till 1451. That's only 5 years away. We'll take that. I think that'll be okay. The national unrest is already pretty low. That shouldn't affect us too much. What was I saying? One other thing we got to do is we've got to watch our military or our army tradition, because that's basically going to be the difference between whether we get a really crappy general when we go to roll for one, or we get a really good one with a lot of pips. And so our goal is to get a really good general, and army tradition is what affects that. So for those of you that didn't know that, there you go. Now you know. Army tradition is pretty damn important when it comes to generals. How you guys looking there? Oh, they almost want an alliance. How about Poland? Because I'd rather have Poland, but if Poland's too far... Okay, Poland's too far away, so Hungary it is. It's going to be us and Hungary here. Let's pull our diplomat off of Wallachia. There we go. Let's offer the alliance and get it out of the way. And Hungary is now in an alliance with us, and they already want a royal marriage, which is good. Okay, so let me explain how this works. We've now got Wallachia and Hungary in an alliance with us. Now, there's various things we could do. We could try to go to war with the Ottomans whilst they're at war with this nation over here. That is a possibility. Let's wait till our diplomat gets back. However, generally, these guys won't go to war with me simply because they have truce with the Ottomans. They start with the truce with the Ottomans, and we don't owe them any favors. So it's not going to work, even if we promise them land, which we can't, because they have the truce. So we've got to wait for the truce to end. Now, if Ottomans attack me, and this is the nice part, if Ottomans attack me, they will get called into the war. So the Ottomans will probably not attack me now, or they will generally avoid attacking me. Let's improve relations with Wallachia, or some more relations. And we'll keep improving relations with Hungary here. Just to have a nice strong alliance. How's Poland looking? Who are they rivals with? They're not rivals. They are not rivals with Hungary. This is very important because that means that Poland can still be my ally. And in 3 turns, or not 3 turns, but 3 months, I can, or 4 months more or less, I can get a royal marriage with them, which will secure me an alliance offer with them. If I get Poland and Lithuania and Hungary and Wallachia all into a war with the Ottomans, it's over. I will win the war against the Ottomans very easily. So that is the goal. That is how you beat the Ottomans. You do it by diplomacy, and that is why I love this game, because you can't just do it by yourself. You need friends, and friends we're going to have. So we'll keep improving relations with Poland. I'm going to have to pull a diplomat off of here soon. Let's pull Wallachia's diplomat so we can prepare ourselves for the royal marriage offer, because we want to nab this stuff up as soon as possible. The Ottomans generally do not care who your allies are. They will eventually go to war with me. Almost every single time they will go to war with me. So we need to be prepared for that. Let's actually mark some of these territories as territories we have interest in. So we already start with all of these territories marked as provinces of vital interest. We're also going to mark Venice's territory because screw them. I have a core on that. Oh, interesting. Let's take a look at this. Alright, so Burgundy there, swallowing up a bunch of places. Burgundy's actually getting pretty large now. Oh, never mind. Oh, no! That's right, that was the special thing that allowed Austria to grab all that. I forgot about that. Oh my goodness, Austria, no! Alright, so Austria is blobbing already pretty good in the beginning. That's going to make a very awkward and strong Austria, because Austria is generally a very strong race. Oh, interesting. Or nation, sorry. I'm going to keep calling them races, but they are not races. They are nations. England is at a war with France and Austria. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Oh, I always love it. I always love all the stuff that happens in this game. It's seriously why I have almost 200 hours invested into the game. Because it is just a good game. Every playthrough you play is just so different. All right, Poland, let's have a conversation, shall we? Royal marriage? Don't mind if I do. So let's lock that royal marriage on with Austria. That is going to get us the alliance with them, but we're not going to be able to file for the alliance until the 3rd of January, 1447. So this is pretty much the perfect game right now. Especially because the Ottomans, not only did the Ottomans not fully swallow up these guys, which is very good, but they've now declared war on Kandar, which means they're not interested in me right now. So we're going to get an alliance here with Poland. Holy crap. So we're literally at the most powerful situation we could possibly be in. Now, Poland is in a war with the Teutonic Order, Bohemia, and a bunch of other countries. That is perfectly fine because generally Poland and Lithuania will stomp these countries, especially because Poland has Mazovia as a vassal, and they've got Moldavia here as a march, which basically means that Moldavia is Poland's warhound, I guess. They don't have to pay taxes to Poland, but they do have to build up like a very large army, and they have to fight alongside Poland's army. So that is very, very good for us. We've literally, if the Ottomans go to war with us, it's going to be brutal for the Ottomans. It's going to be them versus pretty much every country in this area. I am extremely excited to just stomp all over the Ottomans. Let's start improving relations with Athens, because if we take a look here, by 1454, the 1st of June, 1454, we can annex them. So as soon as the option opens up for that, we've got to push for it. It's going to be very important. All right, we've maxed out relations with Poland. Excuse me, I had to take a sip of water there. All right, we've maxed out relations with Poland, so we're going to recall our diplomat. All right. Wallachia, how you looking? Pretty good, pretty good. Allied with Byzantium, we're your only allies. Serbia, you're still rival to us. These two, yep, okay, so Serbia and Bosnia have allied to each other. We're kind of just letting time tick by here. Why don't we, let's see, how are we doing on money? Pretty good. Let's queue up, or actually, we're going to delete our cavalry because it costs a lot of money, and it really doesn't make a difference when the war does eventually break out. It doesn't make a difference because I've got all of these allies with me, and it saves me more money. I can basically have 2 infantry unit for every cavalry, so it's just easier for me to go straight infantry units. At least this early in the game. For this situation, in every outcome, and I've played this outcome a million times over. Well, let's be realistic. I've played it probably 15, 16 times. 15, 16 times of me playing as Byzantium. Every single time, it's just worked out better if I've deleted my cavalry and replaced them with spearmen. So that's how I'm going to do it. All right, France. Are you losing this war? You are not. You're definitely winning against England. Oh no, and Brittany? Oh no. All right. Hungary is fully maxed out with us. Let's start improving relations with somebody else, or let's fabricate some claims, right? Let's get some claims fabricated against some territories we might be interested in, or territories that we can siege, and then if we capture, it'll be cheaper for us to core. So how about Kirklis here or something? I don't know. I'm going to pronounce all of these wrong. Literally every single one of these names I'm probably going to pronounce wrong. So just, you can correct me, you can ignore it, you can do whatever you want. I don't mind if you guys tell me the correct pronunciation. I always appreciate it when you guys do. But don't expect me to pronounce any of these correct, because I probably won't. Venice is at war with Albania. Interesting. That is very good, and I'll tell you why that is good. Albania... Ooh. Karaman has announced this as a rival. All right, well, if that's how you feel. All right, so Albania is considered... claimed by the Ottomans. So if Albania cannot hold up against the Ottomans at all, it's just impossible. They'll get absolutely trampled over. However, if Venice owns Albania and the Ottomans attack Venice, Venice stands a lot more of a chance. Now, Venice will generally lose against the Ottomans every single outcome that I've played. Venice loses against the Ottomans. However, generally, their navy absolutely wrecks the Ottomans' navy, which is just good for me because it's one less thing I've got to put up with. I don't have to put up with as many blockades. I can potentially roll my navy out there, do a little bit of, scatter bomb blockading. So it's always nice. All right, so let's see. The nobility will either gain 15 ducats or gain 1 stability, and the nobility gains 5 loyalty. So nobility, 5 loyalty is going to put us at 50, which doesn't make a difference here. But I really want to get that 1 stability. It's way better than the 15 ducats. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go for the stability boost, especially because I generally do things like attack people without without any reason, and I usually get some stability hits from that, so I don't see any reason not to go for that. Let's take a look here. 10.6, not bad. I definitely don't want to get a general or roll for a general until I have at least 12 army tradition. I usually like to have 12 army tradition before I roll for that general, and I'll usually get a pretty good one every time. Okay, the Ottomans are not at any war. They're still at a lot of truce, especially the truce with most of my allies. So we're really just waiting for that truce to run out, which is going to be, it looks like, 1449. So 1 more year, and that truce will run out. And then I can consider trying to drag all of my allies into a war, or better yet, the best thing to do to guarantee that everybody will come into war with me is to wait until the truce is up, or not up, it doesn't really matter, but to try to hold off as long as I can and wait till Poland and Lithuania finish their war that they always start in the beginning of every game with the Teutonic Order that they always win. So waiting for that war to finish up, and then hopefully dragging them into the war. Now, I could insult the Ottomans, which would definitely probably drag them into a war, but we'll just wait. And here we go. So the Ottomans have declared another war against Dolkadir here, and we'll just let those guys wage that war because that is very good for us. If this war can last a little longer, that would be nice because I would really like for this. This truce to end, so that I can drag everybody into this war. And then the Ottomans will kind of have their forces over here locked into a land battle. And we'll be able to kind of just siege all these provinces and take them on as the defender when they do come to finally attack us. But again, a lot of that depends on whether or not the races will join me in the war. You know, I might have to promise some land or something to get them there. It's always hard to say. It's a lot easier usually to play as the defender. All right, since we are getting close to when the war is probably going to start, let's start queuing some troops up. Our force limit for our military is 10, so we definitely want to max that out. As for our force limit for our navy, we are not going to worry about that. I'm actually going to take these 2 boats and dock them up before the war does start, because I can never beat the Ottoman. In every situation I've played, I can never ever beat the Ottoman's navy. Even if I just completely take out every single loan I can and queue up nothing but galleys, I can never beat the Ottoman's navy. They just get me every time, so it's not worth the effort. I really need this war to end with the Teutonic Order with Poland, because if Poland is in the middle of that war when the Ottomans declare war on me, Poland's going to send some really nasty beat-up armies down there to help me, and I don't need that right now. How's this going down here? We still got the personal union going on between Sweden. Yep, they're still under a personal union with Denmark. Interesting. And Norway. So we've got the personal unions going on between Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Generally, that war breaks out usually before, I'd say probably before 1460, but we'll see if it breaks out this game. It's sometimes hit or miss. We got the claim against the Ottomans all finished up. So that frees up a diplomat. We've actually got 2 free diplomats. We're working on Athens now. Venice absolutely despises us, as they rightfully should. Because Venice is our rival, and they did take Albania, which is good, so hopefully the Ottomans will go to war with them. That would be a really good time to hit the Ottomans, when they're at war with Venice and Venice's allies, which is Savoy, and Savoy is a pretty powerful nation. So if we hit them during that time, that would actually make a pretty big difference in the battle. Now, the Mamelukes. Let's improve relations with the Mamelukes, because sometimes if things do go, sideways with one of these countries, the Mamelukes do, or at least can, make a potentially good ally. Not always, but sometimes the Mamelukes make a good ally. It just depends on the situation. The Mamelukes hate the Ottomans. They're enemies with them. Just like we're enemies with the Ottomans, they're also enemies with Venice. So we'll actually get an enemy of our enemy bonus. So we can't do a royal marriage because we have different religions. However, an alliance is not so far out the window. We can only ally these guys because they were, royal marriage these guys because they were Orthodox. Although I thought we had one with Hungary. We do, aren't they Catholic? They are. Interesting. I don't know how that happened. I'm pretty sure I cannot... Yeah, the Orthodox faith does not allow royal marriages with other religion groups. Okay, I don't know how this happened. I'm sure there's something behind it. Oh, they are Orthodox. They're Orthodox, but their main religion is Catholic. Interesting. That's an interesting situation they start out in. That's actually a crappy situation they start out in. Okay, well, that's fine. That makes sense then. I understand. I completely understand. Let's queue up another infantry guy. Trying to get that 10 there. What we'll do is when the war does eventually break out, we will queue up a ton of infantry guys, just completely max out our force limit, take out every loan we can, because that is literally the only way to beat the Ottomans when the time does come. However, for this first episode, we are out of time, so next time, hopefully I'll start insulting the Ottomans. We'll drag everybody into a war with them, we'll capture all of our territory back, and we will be in a better position than we are now. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you're excited for this series, and I'll see you next time.